Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Have you ever felt a conflict within yourself? A pull between what you want to do and what you know you should do? This isn't just a feeling, it's a war being waged every single moment inside your mind. It's a silent, hidden battle between two powerful armies, the army of the intellect and the army of primal ignorance. This is the constant struggle for command over your decisions, your emotions, and ultimately your destiny. In this video, we will decode the map of this internal battlefield. We'll begin with a surprising ancient parable, identify the three powerful armies that exist within all of us, and finally, uncover a practical strategy to claim victory in this daily war. Let's begin. Let's start with a thought experiment drawn from ancient wisdom texts. Imagine a man who dedicates his entire life to ritual and devotion. So much so that higher beings see him as a paragon of virtue, destined for the highest echelons of paradise. But the ultimate judgment is something else entirely. His place, the Creator determines, is in the lowest possible realm. How could this be? How can maximum effort yield the minimum reward? To find the answer, a sage was sent in the guise of an ordinary man to test the depth of the devout man's understanding. The sage sat beside him, pointed to a lush green meadow and said, "A beautiful sight." The devout man replied, "Indeed, but it's a pity it will all dry up in a few months. I wish the Creator would bring his donkey here to eat this grass so it doesn't go to waste." And there it was, the answer to the entire puzzle. The man's concept of a creator was not based on higher reasoning. He imagined the architect of the universe as a simple livestock owner. In reality, all his lifelong rituals were a shell, empty of true understanding. This brings us to the first law of this internal war. Action without intellect is a hollow shield. A single moment of profound thought is more powerful than 70 years of blind devotion. Ancient philosophies speak of the intellect as an inner prophet or an inner compass. For most of us, living centuries after the great sages of the past, what is it that keeps us on the path? It's this internal voice. We often look back and criticize those who ignored the wisdom of the masters. But let's ask ourselves, how often do we listen to our own inner compass? For many of us, the problem isn't a lack of knowledge, but a need for a reminder, a simple nudge to blow the dust off the flame of our own intellect. Within every one of us, three powerful armies are constantly active. The intellect is the supreme commander whose entire purpose is to keep these three forces in perfect balance. Any imbalance, too much or too little, is a strategic failure in this internal war. The first army, the appetitive drive. This is our engine for survival, pleasure and progress. Deficiency in this drive leads to apathy and stagnation. Excess leads to shara, or unrestrained lust and hedonism, and its balance is called temperance. Temperance is not suppression, it is the channeling of this powerful energy toward constructive and meaningful goals. A society that makes healthy paths for connection difficult is like one that tells its thirsty citizens they cannot drink from a clean spring, but are free to drink from a polluted gutter. The second army, the aggressive drive. This is our defense system. Deficiency here is juban, or cowardice. Excess is tahawur, or reckless, thoughtless aggression. And its balance is courage, the will to act decisively at the right time and in the right way. Think of the energy of our youth. If this powerful adrenal force is not given healthy outlets, like intense sports such as horsemanship, archery or swimming, it will erupt as violence and aggression in our streets. The third army, the cognitive faculty. This is our tool for understanding the world. Deficiency here is kudni, or intellectual laziness. Excess, however, is also dangerous. It is Gerbizar, an arrogance that assumes the limited human mind can solve all mysteries, rendering higher wisdom or revelation obsolete. This is precisely the pendulum swing we saw in the West. From the thought suppression of the Dark Ages to an age of enlightenment that, in its quest to eliminate superstition, often discarded wisdom as well. The greatest enemy of the intellect isn't a lack of science, it's ignorance. Our world is filled with knowledgeable yet ignorant people. This modern ignorance operates with a tool called WAM, or illusion. Illusion doesn't deny reality, it distorts it. It scrambles the proportions of what is important. Illusion is what causes a person to fear their boss more than their own conscience. It's what makes gossip, a severe act of social aggression in many wisdom traditions, feel like a harmless daily pastime. Look at the world around you. Think of the Guinness World Records. A person holding dozens of knives in their teeth or eating insects against the clock. Is this a sign of human achievement, or a symptom of a profound emptiness, a celebration of ignorance dressed up as entertainment? You might be asking, if we are all born with different intellectual capacities, where is the fairness in that? The answer lies in a beautiful analogy, the starting line of a track race. The runners do not stand in a straight line, though their starting points are different. The distance for each runner to the finish line is exactly the same. The Creator expects from each of us only in proportion to the innate intellect we were given at our start. Our duty, our purpose, is to use our acquired intellect through learning and conscious effort to grow that initial investment. Now, let's examine a practical strategy used by the army of ignorance, one that many of us struggle with. Intrusive thoughts, or waswas. Those nagging, repetitive, and often disturbing thoughts that you can't seem to shake. The mother who is constantly terrified her child will be in an accident, the person who gets unwanted, offensive thoughts and suffers immense guilt. These are direct attacks using the faculty of illusion. The counter-strategy is simple but revolutionary. Total disengagement. You cannot win a game of logic with your own irrational thoughts. You must flip the table. When an intrusive thought appears, powerfully state, "This thought is not me, it does not belong to me." And to defeat it, do the opposite of what it suggests. If you doubt something, say with conviction, "It doesn't matter," and move on. The moment you withdraw your attention, the chain of obsession will break. From the parable of the devout man to the battle against intrusive thoughts, we have journeyed into the battlefield of our own minds. This war is waged every day and every moment. Every decision we make reinforces one of two armies, the army of the intellect or the army of ignorance. Temperance against lust, courage against fear, wisdom against ignorance. This week, try a simple exercise. Listen more closely to your inner compass, your intellect. When faced with anger, desire, or a difficult decision, pause for just a moment and ask, what are the orders from the commander? See what a difference it makes in your daily decisions. Take command of your mind.